We're looking absolutely grim today, guys. The market is getting destroyed. It's bloody out there. We're getting wrecked by Jerome Powell, Fed, and Gary Gensler. Yeah, he's coming after everything crypto. He's very hostile. He hasn't stopped. A lot of bad news out there. A lot of FUD. Twitter timeline is looking really depressing at the moment. And Bitcoin's playing that down move that a lot of people have been expecting. In this video, I want to go through some news, look at some charts, and I want to have a look at Bitcoin's previous cycles to see if there's any similarities with what we're experiencing right now. And also want to have a look at the Bitcoin chart from that first video I did and see the progress, because I was predicting for it to get to the $56,000 to $57,000 mark to fill that fair value gap, and I believe we've done that now. So the question now is, have we bottomed? Is it time to start buying the dip, or should we wait? In which case I might actually show you a good strategy to start deploying your capital but also not going all in, which I'll show you at some point in the video. Or are we going to zero, in which case we're all doomed? With that being said, we have a lot to get through. Let's jump right into it. So first things first, we're gonna look at Morales money. Mostly everything's red, barely a few things. Optimism, Dot, and Atom are the main stuff that are kind of having a little bit of a bounce, but mostly everything's red. Having a look at Dropstab just to see the Bitcoin dominance, 52%. You can see Fear Greed is now in neutral. Bitcoin's at $56,800. ETH at $2,800. Wow. We're getting to some juicy prices. Solana $123. Avalanche $32. This is a real dip. Exactly what you want to see if you've been sidelined till now and you've been kind of waiting to get into the market. Well, these prices are looking more and more attractive. Looking at Chainbroker, market cap of the overall market, $2.23 trillion. Now, I should probably quickly mention all these tools that I'm using. I actually just recently did a video going through all the tools that you need to help you analyze the market so you can get an edge. I will make sure to link that video right here. So let's have a look at the Bitcoin chart. Now, these are some of the levels that I marked in the first video I did last week, which I urge you to go and watch if you want to see the full explanation on that. But just to quickly go over it, the levels that are marked here between the 0.5 and the 6.8 level, that golden pocket inside this green box. Now, this green box was the fair value gap on the weekly chart of the Bitcoin. Basically, I said the past few corrections we had, there was a fair value gap here. The correction went to the bottom of this fair value gap. There was another fair value gap here that we touched the median of that fair value gap twice before we went up another 100% or so. And lastly, there was another fair value gap from January last year in 2023 where also ended up correcting just to the top of it. We never quite went to the golden pocket of that fair value gap, but it seems to be a little bit of a trend. It was this video 12 days ago, so 2 weeks ago nearly when I did that. So that was about 2 weeks ago exactly. I expected us to come down to the golden pocket in this fair value gap, and what do you know, we actually just hit that golden pocket there. So that's been somewhere I've been anticipating. Now the question is, could we come all the way to the bottom of this fair value gap? We could, exactly like we did in this area. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do, as long as we don't close below this. I'm gonna maintain my bullish bias in the medium term. If we do close below it, I am definitely gonna turn bearish in the medium term. So if we close below it, I'm expecting this whole fair value gap to turn into resistance. Definitely don't want to see this inverted, because then I am expecting us to probably come down all the way down to the mid 40,000s. We have another fair value gap here as well from $43,000 to $47,000. So that's probably another key area. You can see there's been a few bit of resistance as well in this whole area. So that area, that fair value gap down there in the mid 40,000s key area, you can see there was a resistance there, support, resistance, another resistance there, support here. So ideally we don't want to see us go there, but if we do go there, probably is going to extend the bull run in the long term, because if you're going to spend a few months down here, that's going to take a while for us to capitulate down there and for us to go back up. We're going to have a usual cycle in that scenario, because if we actually come back up from here, I expect us to finish this run by end of this year, maybe January 2025. Do you want a longer bull run, or do you want a shorter bull run and you want everything now? Personally, I'd rather have a longer bull run because it means more opportunity. So if it means we go down to 50s, 45, 46, $47,000 levels, and that means we're going to capitulate longer and we're going to have a longer bull run all the way to end of 2025, that's not such a bad thing. Now, no one's going to be able to exactly predict what's going to happen next. We'll see what happens there. So that's the Bitcoin chart. I want to look at some of the Bitcoin news as well. Look, just a reminder that there were 6 drawdowns of 30% roughly in the 2016 to 2018 bull run. The flavor of this bull run so far has not been that bad. So you haven't even seen 38 to 36% here. Most of the corrections we've seen has been in the 20 to 25% range. If you look at what we've been getting this cycle so far is January 2023, 22.9%, 20% and 22% in mid to end of last year. And in March, we got 21.8% and now we got 23.6% so far. So this is definitely the deepest we've seen, but nothing nearly as close as what we used to see in the previous bull run. So Bitcoin's starting to become more mature. Hopefully in a couple of bull runs, we probably will start looking at Bitcoin as the drawdowns you see in S&P 500 and NASDAQ. So it just puts things into perspective. I increased my BTC holdings by 1% this morning. My goal is to have double my position by year end. Going to be a lot of sacrifice. In my opinion, these prices are excellent entry points. Look, smart money is probably buying in now. So market's all about psychology. If you're feeling afraid, it's probably time to buy. If you're feeling greedy and you want to keep buying and you think you're not exposed enough, it's probably time to sell. It's really good to start getting in a habit of buying when the market's red and selling when the market's green. That will definitely do you well in the long run. With Bitcoin breaking all-time high before the halving, anything under 70k is a bargain. So really try and think and put yourself in the shoes of yourself when Bitcoin was at 70k and how you were feeling, and really apply that when Bitcoin's going to be at what, 45 to 50k. That's nearly 35 to 40% discount. Now this is a strategy I mentioned at the intro that I was going to show you. This is something you could do if you are not sure, which I'm actually in the same boat. I'm not sure if Bitcoin's going to bottom here or not. It's all a probabilities game. What you could do is if you have $10,000 and you want to invest that in Bitcoin, put 50% at 58k level, which we are at now. This is just a strategy. I'm just giving you an example. It's not financial advice. $5,000 into Bitcoin at 58k. Then you can buy 30% of that 10k, $3,000 if we get to 49k, and put the rest of that, the extra $2,000 if Bitcoin goes to 38k in the unlikely scenario, in which case great, you just dollar cost average down. Or if you don't, well, good, you just got $7,000 worth of Bitcoin. That's a good strategy I saw. I thought I'd bring it to you. Crypto God John, when they call you lucky 8 months from now, remember the dog shit days of the market like today. If you stick around in these times, if you haven't given up, if you're watching YouTube videos, if you're trying to educate yourself now, and if you're trying to come up with a strategy while market is red, everyone's afraid and fearful and running away, you are going to be successful. Do not forget the days you actually stuck around, because now the risk reward is actually very, very attractive. While we're on that topic, actually, do follow me on Twitter, Farsh Crypto. I actually posted this today, crypto down heavy. I am not telling you to buy the dip, but I am telling you that these are the times that you can separate yourself from the retail. You don't want to be the retail. When people are in early, they are waiting for the retail to come in so they can dump their bags on them. Don't be the retail. Be smart. Buy the blood in the street. Wait for the retail to come in so you can sell your bags at a higher price. Don't be the retail who sells red and buys green. And by being smart now, you might also no longer be the retail. Now, plan B, one of the OGs with the S2F stock to flow model. If you look at Bitcoin, April closing price was $60,632 for the month. This was the last blue dot month zero. Average price 2020 to 2024 halving cycle was $34,000, and slightly below the S2F 2019 55k prediction. May will be the first red dot, the start of the new countdown to the next halving. Stock to flow 2024 to 2028 prediction is 500k. So what happened was for the last prediction, it was 55k the average, and we came slightly lower. We came at 34k. So the next prediction is 500k, but you know, even if we come at 150 to 200k, man, that's a good Bitcoin price. That's just the S2F model. Basically, the end of the blue and start of the red means the start of the countdown to the next halving, basically the start of the new cycle. Whenever the halving has happened, this stock to flow model has been pretty accurate. You can see after the blue dot, once the red starts, we kind of have a parabolic off top run, and that's when the repricing happens. So this expects Bitcoin to really start ramping up in price. So S2F is still valid until it's invalidated. Just in something bullish finally, not that it's going to do anything to the price. BlackRock hosts Bitcoin investing conference with industry leaders at its headquarters. BlackRock's bullish, I'm bullish. Richard Hart, he's back. In bull market, markets, it's common to see someone miss the bottom, buy the top, then it dumps massive, then they sell and lock in their losses, then it makes a new all-time high again and they rebuy, but get far less coins because they locked in their losses. Not financial advice. That's kind of what I was saying. Don't be the retail. Don't be the person who buys in late because Bitcoin's going up, so it's all green, Bitcoin's already gone so high, then we dump 20% and you're gonna sell, lock in your losses, and then we're gonna run up again to $80,000 and you're gonna buy again, but you're gonna have way less Bitcoin now because you sold. The sky is not falling for BTC. This move lower still looks like a correction like all the other throwbacks to support the weekly charts bull run. Most people that have been here for a long time are still seeing this as a correction and nothing more. So that's it, guys. We had a look at the Bitcoin chart and we had a look at some of the previous corrections just to gauge if this correction is kind of out of ordinary. The strategy is to weather the storm in every 20 to 25% correction in the bull run. The markets are all about staying level-headed and executing your strategies so you don't make decisions based on your emotion. With that being said, thanks for sticking around all the way to the end of this video. I'll see you in the next video.